the truth, you can never enjoy hearing them. Whatsoever they are telling you, even they are using the most skillful public speech theories and so on and so forth. If they are not keeping their promises, if they are not telling the truth, if they are not sincere enough with the people, and at the same time using the perfect public speech skills, they cannot reach the hearts of their audience.
You would be surprised how the delivery has a major impact. 93% of the impact is the delivery, not the content. You would be surprised. These figures are solid figures. Only 7% of the impact is caused by the content.
We'll move to another point now to talk about those people who inspired you, who stood by your side and left a mark in your life.
The classical question that are asked in these circumstances.
But I need new answers, not classical answers.
Exactly. I'll tell you the classical question, and I'll give you an unclassical.
Inspired answers.
Usually the question is, who is your source of inspiration? Who is your role model? Who had a big impact in your life? And here is my honest answer.
No, we'll come to this question later on, about who inspires you. No, I'm talking about those people who stood beside you and provided support and pushed you forward. We're coming to talk about your inspiration later on, but now I'm talking about those people who were maybe your family or friends, professors.
I was reared in a manner that I always taught my children, among many things, the most important thing is self-dependence. And not to minimize the credit so many of my family members and friends gave me or supported me with, but it's very important all along the way to know that one should never rely on someone's support, and one should be 100% self-dependent. So if I had to teach my kids one thing, I would want to teach them self-dependency. Never expect anyone from anyone except from your own self. In my opinion, this is key to succeeding in life. Having said that, and having kept that in mind, many people were behind so many of my successes. The team, any team you work with, is your first ally. If you cannot create a working, positive relationship with your team members, and when I say a team, it's not necessarily a team of colleagues at work, it's not necessarily a team of friends, no. Your family is your team. Your spouse is your team. Your children are your team. Your friends are your team. Your colleagues at work are your team. We have so many teams we deal with. But I don't think one should always emphasize one or two or three individuals to rely on to get them out of troubles when they are. And it's very important to make the demarcation between who is going to support me and how I'm going to support myself. Was that a classical answer?
No, it's very inspiring. Now we'll move to talk about who inspires you.
Another non-classical answer to that, to a classical question.
These are the classical questions of this program.
It's very important to develop the following skill. The skill of being able to see a source of inspiration in every human being you meet. Because every person you meet, excuse me, regardless of how big or how small, how important or how non-important, how rich or how poor, has always something to inspire you with. Now it's up to us to develop the skill of finding this little something. And this little something does not need to be big, as it said. It could be little, it could be very little. And the smaller it is, the more impact it will have. Because at the end of the day, we are the product of so many little things. That's what at the end makes one individual, makes us what we are.
I remember one of my trainers, he told me one day, I kept watching an ant for about 3 hours, delivering a piece of sugar from one place to another. I was learning from her.
You even took the idea beyond, learning from an animal or from an insect. That's absolutely correct. That's exactly what I mean to say.
Yeah.
So my real source of inspiration has been a little bit from every individual. And you develop that passion to the human element of a human being. Even those who you disagree with. And those are even more important because they will have more impact on you.
Commanding 3 languages, Arabic, English and French, I think they were of significant importance in your life. Commanding English, French and Arabic, they contributed a great deal to your success in teaching and your career as a coach inside and outside Egypt. Put some context here, please.
It's very nice and it looks very good on a CV to say that you can proficiently deal with 3 languages at the same time. But I want to take this a step
to
beyond.
Coach with the 3 languages.
Yeah. Let me take this to a deeper step, a more important step than just speaking and writing and being able to deliver speeches in 3 languages. A language is a tool. It's only a tool. It's not an end. A language gives you access to a new world. So the fact that I speak Arabic gives me an access to the entire Arabic culture. The world, not only the political world, but the culture. The Arabic human being, which is totally different than other human beings. The fact that I speak French gives me access to the French culture, or to the Francophonic culture of French-speaking individual, which is in turn totally different than the Arabic one. And again, the English one gives you access to a totally new world. So the more languages, the more worlds.
The more access you have to
more human beings.
To more human beings, to more cultures.
My late father used to tell me when I was a kid, if you speak 1 language, you're 1 person. You speak 2, you're 2. You speak 3, you're 3. And that's so true. The more languages, the more human beings you are. You're multiplied.
Dr. Wagih, what was the main challenge you faced during your life?
I'll give you the main one. Of course, life is full of challenges, and that's what makes life interesting. Otherwise, it would be boring.
Yeah.
People don't realize that we need challenges to survive, to keep going. If you want to call them challenges. Actually, challenges is a new nomenclature for problems or hurdles or obstacles. So
hardships.
Yeah, so challenges is the new sexy word for
problems.
And by the way, in the English language, the word sexy has nothing to do with sex. It only has to do with something that's appealing. That's by definition in the dictionary. To answer your question of what was the most
appealing plus challenges, hopefully it will work.
One of the big challenges for me was the constant motion from one place to another, to a third, to a fourth, etc. As soon as I finished my medical studies in Egypt, I immigrated to the United States. So first encounter with the United States culture was first cultural shock. Then a few years later came back to Egypt. So again suffered from a reverse cultural shock. Now from Egypt starting to radiate again in other countries by virtue of my work with different UN organizations, India, Pakistan, Arab countries, Europe. So again reverse cultural shock. Spending most of the time away from home or in a flight up in the air. So probably that was the biggest challenge for someone who likes to have a base, who likes to settle, someone who's a settler. That was probably my biggest challenge.
How did you deal with that?
I dealt with it the interesting way. instead of looking at the challenging aspect in terms of motion, I looked at the interesting aspect in terms of learning. Every new country was a new learning experience. And when I say learning experience, this includes learning how human beings function in this area, new cultures, new religions, new belief system, new foods, new everything. So when you focus on understanding what's happening around you, you forget the challenges and the obstacles, and it becomes interesting.
Talking about what's happening around us, what is it that you think can help Egypt come out of what we're experiencing now?
Step one in any development, we need to know what we don't know. In other words, what is it that we do not know? We need to self-evaluate ourselves in an objective manner. We need to say, this is what we are good at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, we're good at that. And these are the things that we need to improve in. We need to stop fooling ourselves by making ourselves believe that we're good in everything, because we're not. We have very good, strong points that we should start building on. And we have areas of weakness, of course. And we have areas of weakness that we need to acknowledge. To develop. And once we decide for ourselves what is it that we do not know, then that will be the right attitude to starting to develop skills. Is it this, what we are experiencing now, is it the nature of a transitional period? Or is it much related to the culture of the Egyptians or the Arab world? It's a combination of both. Any transitional period in the world is, of course, is not stable. Chaotic. Is chaotic. Our transitional period is even more complex because it's a mixture of transition plus denial of our weaknesses and denial of what is it that we need to improve in. We have, when I say we, I mean the Egyptian population, we have an attitude problem. We do not want to admit objectively what is it that we don't know. Once we overcome this obstacle, then we'll start the development process, not before. Great. Dr. Wagih, what is it, that thing that you dream or hope of? I hope my children can live a decent life in any country in the world they go, where the rights are protected, their human dignity is respected, their opinion, no matter how good or how bad or how accepted or not accepted, are being respected. And I hope that this entire world values the human aspects of a human being. What's next for you? For me? Yeah. Maybe I want to go to the movies. We enjoyed your company. Thank you very much, Mr. Rania. It was a pleasure.